Hey, welcome back to Ping Pong Flicks. My name is Chris Wong. So Matthew Vaughn has pretty much confirmed he was in talks to direct a Superman film. This is what he says. This is an interview he did with HeyUGuys for Kingsman: The Golden Circle. He says, "I am planning another Kingsman. I've written the treatment and some of the scenes and ... I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I have had chats about Superman. I love Superman." Now, I don't want to go on a rehash of a video I made 6 months ago about when the first time Matthew Vaughn was probably in talks to direct Man of Steel 2. He didn't say Man of Steel 2 here, he just said Superman, but I'm just going to guess that the DC Extended Universe is going to continue, so I'm thinking Superman as in Man of Steel 2. So back then, 6 months ago, they were just in talks, rumored in talks, and this pretty much confirms what he did 6 months ago. Is he still in talks? Had he just saying he's in talks and they don't know what the direction is that we're going through? Now, I'm not going to go too much in detail of how I felt about Matthew Vaughn's pitch, about his thoughts about Batman v Superman, where he thought that if he did a Superman film, he would think Superman should be about color, lots of color, and lots of fun, and that it should not be a Dark Knight treatment. A lot of people have different thoughts about that. I have as myself. And more towards, I guess you can say, he is dissing on Man of Steel. He is dissing on Zack Snyder's vision for the character. And like I've pointed out before in my earlier videos, is that I feel that Man of Steel is that color and fun. He's just drenched in a dark world, in a world filled with mankind that does not treat him as so, would not accept him as like a Christopher Reeve Superman back in 1978. It's not a jokey world. This is a serious, dark reality, an actual physical reality that a Superman could come into this world, and this is how we would react to him. But as you know, the studio has been listening to the general audience more and the critics more, and that's why we kind of getting all these things about these words about hope and fun, even though it was already there. But I understand, as a business, I have a business of my own. You go in the direction your customers, most of your customers are going. You go in the direction of where the critics are going. That's your outlook. I mean, say whatever you about Rotten Tomatoes, the studio seems to be still listening to the critics that put their reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, who it's an aggregate of all these critics, and so they do listen to the positives and negatives, and they want to be critically successful. Even though, you know, Batman v Superman, Man of Steel made a ton of money. But with Wonder Woman coming out the gate and being very successful, and it seems to have reached a certain tone that these critics and these massive general audience who seem to like it a lot, they seem to very acknowledge that tone and say that to them is hopeful and fun, even though, you know, honestly, some of the color schemes in there, everything, even the story, some of the tidbits in there seem very much Man of Steel, seem very much within the DC Extended Universe. It hasn't actually brought it to any direction altogether, but throwing in a few jokes in there, maybe a little more color in here, seems to have done the studio a favor and given more of a hopeful and optimistic tone, I guess, to the DC Extended Universe, to these people who has not accepted the DC Extended Universe so far. And with Matthew Vaughn in talks, this is different, because 6 months ago Matthew Vaughn was rumored to do something, but at that time they were still figuring out, Jeff Johns was still figuring out what to do with this universe. Now, I'd have to say that Wonder Woman hasn't changed much since the original vision, so whether that means they have actually gone that route or they've actually changed it in any form. Justice League, there are changes right now. I'm thinking most of it's the Zack Snyder vision, but I know they've changed the tone. You can actually see it in the trailers where they've actually they actually added more colors and changed the hues, the saturation on the film a little bit, and I could also be part of the post process, and so we won't be sure until we actually see the movie. But I feel like they are now accepting of Matthew Vaughn. I think now that Kingsman's out, Kingsman Golden Circle is probably going to be a great film. The Kingsman did wonderfully. He did, of course, everything, all these large movie properties that are very great ratings. They've great ratings and acceptable by a lot of the audience. I'm not sure about the box office money. I think it has done well, but the studios don't want to be critically panned, and so they're willing to accept Matthew Vaughn, who seems to be a big name in this genre universe, and they want to have him on board to do Man of Steel 2. Now, he just says he's confirmed in talks, so this is not like a guaranteed that he's going to be doing Superman, and what kind of version of that Superman will be, we don't know until after probably Justice League. Then we can see what type of Superman they actually brought forth, what type of Superman that they envision to have. Is this the Superman that we've been waiting all along, the hopeful, optimistic, or just the Zack Snyder Superman, which I love, and he's just coming back to a world that actually accepts him this time around and actually gives him that color? I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I am optimistic by this one thing, and that is that they're talking about Superman. They're not throwing him aside. They're not saying, you know, Superman has done its time. We've got 3 movies with him in it. Let's forget about him. I want to do Harley Quinn. I want to do Joker. I want to do Deadshot. You know, it's like I want to do a Suicide Squad too. You know, I am very happy that we are talking more about other characters within DC Extended Universe. And yes, we've done Superman before, and maybe people want Zatanna and stuff like that, but I'm really happy because Superman is my number one. He is my number one hero of all time. I am very happy that they're talking about Superman. I'm very happy that they're still going to do a Superman film. They're working hard to do that, and I can't wait. In whatever shape or form, we'll see if it works for me or if it works for everybody else. But at least they're talking about Superman. Alright guys, I'm going to be doing videos here and there throughout the week. I'm going to go on a business trip for my business, and so I'll be gone for a little while. You'll probably have weird seeing all these hotel backgrounds after this video, but I'll try to keep up, and I'll try to do some video throughout this week. Alright guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.